G'day YouTube, Max right here. Well, a couple of months ago we had the Elon Musk Bitcoin pump. Now we have the Elon Musk Bitcoin crash. Elon Musk, is he the new China of Bitcoin? For those of you not familiar, China is famous for pumping, sending out bad news about Bitcoin, forcing the price down, then scooping up a whole bunch of Bitcoin, and vice versa. And we'll know that Elon, Tesla bought Bitcoin without telling anybody and then announced it. The price went up big time. Now the price went down after their announcement. Are they gearing up to buy more? Questions for you. Also, we're going to be talking about some news. We're going to talk about TA. Is now the time to buy Bitcoin? The worst kept secret in all of cryptocurrency. During a bull market, the 21-week moving average is the best time to get it. We just hit it a few hours ago, so is now the best time to be buying Bitcoin? Or is Elon Musk's tweet foretelling a shift in the market and things are going to crash? We're going to look at all of that right here, right now. Let's take a look. We're going to start off with the news at simplyhodl.com. It's updated almost every single day with all of your Bitcoin news. So, side note, by the way, Vitalik donates $1 billion. He liquidated $1 billion worth of crypto and gave it to charity. Just mind-blowing wealth that Vitalik has. God bless him. But the big news of the day, of course, is Elon Musk's tweet. So let's jump over to Twitter and check that one out. We can check it out right in here. And here was, where is it coming slowly? This is Elon Musk's tweet. Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy per transaction. So, interesting stuff. The result, let's jump back here to the crypto price. We see the Elon Musk dump from $57,000 all the way down to $45,000. Serious drop, right? We've since bounced back up to $50,000. I'll be doing some technical analysis on this a little bit later. Is now the best time to buy? Coming up in just a moment. While I'm pulling up the next screen, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You definitely want to be part of the community. Okay, so a couple of other tweets here I want to mention. Bitcoin mining could encourage investment in solar systems, enabling renewables to generate a higher percentage of grid power with no change to the cost of electricity. So here's someone says, hey Elon, the Bitcoin Clean Energy Initiative suggests Bitcoin mining could encourage more investment in renewables. And I love this one from CZ of Binance. Elon probably did not research how much energy is required to run other non-cryptocurrencies that Tesla accepts, like fiat currency. So this is interesting. It's kind of hard to believe that Elon Musk doesn't know what I'm about to say. If this is his passion, if this is what he's all about, it's hard for me to believe that he does not know this. But two things you need to know. One, 70% of all Bitcoin mining is done with renewable energy. Step number two, compared to the other form, I don't think he wants to go back to the Stone Ages where we don't have money. So assuming he wants money, and I notice he's still accepting fiat currency, then we have to understand, well, what's the consequence of the environmental footprint of fiat currencies? Well, you think of every Brinks truck going around the place transporting bundles of money to stick in ATM machines. You think of all the personnel at banks. You think of everyone at a bank who has to drive to work, get back from work, etc., etc. The footprint, the carbon footprint, the environmental footprint of the existing fiat currency is orders of magnitude worse than all of the cryptocurrencies combined. It is so much worse. And it is hard for me to believe that Elon does not know this. So I think it's very much a possibility that he is what China did in 2017 and really has done many other years too. It seems as though Elon Musk's is going to be, I'm very, very open to this. Watch this. We'll have the new, we'll find out what happened to Tesla's Bitcoin holdings is since the last quarter when they do their next filing. Did they acquire Bitcoin during this period? In which case, I think it's just incredible. Elon Musk is like putting out FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about Bitcoin while he's accumulating. If he's doing that right now, that is, and what he's doing to the Dogecoin price, leading a whole bunch of lambs to slaughter, it's just reprehensible. It's like, when you're this rich, why would you fleece millions, if not billions, of poor people to put more money in your pockets? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have a slither of the fraction of the wealth that Elon Musk has, but I would never think of doing that. It doesn't even entertain my mind to do that. And so if he is doing that, that is just tragic. I mean, just says so much about the human that is just very, very sad. All right, but we don't know that that's what's happening, of course. Maybe we get the next quarterly filings and it turns out they have liquidated all of their Bitcoin, which is maybe why the price has been less than stunning for Bitcoin for the last 2-3 months. So maybe that's what he's been doing. He's been completely congruent. I don't know. Time will tell. All right, let's get over to the Bitcoin price. So, for those of you who don't know, like about 3-4 days ago when we're up here, I said best case scenario for me is that the Bitcoin price comes back down to the 21-week moving average. Let's just jump on that real fast. The 21-week moving average, I know you know it, is the worst kept secret in all of cryptocurrency. During a bull market, let's go back to this is the 2017 crazy rise up to $20,000. The 21-week moving average, that is this moving line here. It takes the average price of Bitcoin over the last 21 weeks at any given point. When the price came down to at it or near it, it was the best time to buy Bitcoin. Price comes down to the 21-week moving average, you scoop it up, you ride up the next wave. Comes down to the 21-week moving average, you scoop it up, you ride it up the next wave. Over and over, here. Ready? Here. Over and over, here. The 21-week moving average was the floor of the entire ecosystem. Now, fast forward to this year. And in fact, Bitcoin has been so bullish this year that it hasn't even got near the 21-week moving average until today. So in order to find the last time that Bitcoin went to actually crossed, I think it kissed it over here in September, which was, Bitcoin $10,000. It breaks out, heads all the way up to 60, an epic 6x in the span of about 3 months. That was the last time it kissed it. The last time it crossed it and went over, when it went down below here, buying Bitcoin at $3,000, what are we talking here, 12 months ago? Oh my gosh, how much does everybody wish they could go back and scoop up more? So, can it go below the 21-week moving average? Absolutely, but this is different, in my opinion. We're not in the bull market here. This is not the bull market. In fact, the 21-week moving average during the bear market is actually often the ceiling. They see the ceiling, broke through, ceiling. And so by definition, if you understand how the 21-week or how any of the moving averages work, with 100% certainty in the future, Bitcoin will go below the 21-week moving average. It has to happen. It will always go back and forth. It just always has to happen. That's how it works. So I'm not saying it's never going to go below the 21-week moving average, but we have to decide is the bull market over? And so let's evaluate that case. And news matters. These things matter. So we live in a virtue signaling society. There's absolutely no doubt about that. If you look at what's going on with BLM and all this stuff, and I don't mean, of course, Black Lives Matter counts, that goes without saying, but the BLM is just a communist movement, right? It's just a horrible, horrific thing for this country. And you look at all the virtue signaling out of Silicon Valley and things like that, we know, and we don't know. I believe that in order to get Bitcoin up to $100,000, $1 million per coin, institutions are going to come in. So this has a question mark. So Elon Musk has put this over a cloud over the industry. It's FUD. It's wrong. I've kind of outlined at the beginning. Environmentally, Bitcoin is better than the existing systems with regards to its environmental footprint. But do we create an environment where all of these institutions, where we've been talking about this, there's this wall of money coming into the world of Bitcoin, sort of at the end of this year was the prediction, because we saw them get interested at the beginning of the year. It takes them 6 to 12 months to figure out how to custody it, go through their all their boards and their CEOs and their CFOs and everybody else. It takes about 6 to 12 months for institutions to actually do it. That's which is why we get the opportunity to front run them, because we can do it much faster. By the time we go through KYC and AML, etc., at the exchanges and then be able to buy, we can kind of turn it around in weeks or months. The big institution takes much, much longer. That's why we get to front run them. It's one of the reasons it's so exciting. We've been anticipating this wall of institutional money coming in. Question mark. Does this FUD, does it create an environment where institutions are hesitant to do it? Not because of the Bitcoin price, but because of the social ramifications, this virtue signaling nonsense that they engage in, all of that stuff. That is what we have to ask ourselves. Does this, is this kind of a shifting tide where the FUD put out by the mainstream media, and the mainstream media has been building on this for the last couple of months. We've been talking about it here on this channel, and it seems like Elon Musk has grabbed hold of it. And is that a tipping point where lots of other institutions who were going to come in do not come in? So that's what we have to weigh this up against. Could this... My apologies for that. Could this end this cycle prematurely? That's the concern. And no doubt about it, it takes a hell of a lot of courage to run into a burning building. You see a big red gigantic candle like that, you're like, oh great, Bitcoin's at the 21-week moving average, time to buy. It takes a lot of courage to do that after this epic drop. An epic drop always, always, always comes with some kind of bad news like this. COVID lockdowns would be a massive one. There's always bad news. And in the back of the mind, you're always thinking, oh my God, is this the news that shifts the narrative, that does something that brings in the bear market? It's absolutely a possibility, and it takes courage to run into a burning building. So therefore, we look for confluence. Are there lots of other things to suggest that the bull market is not over? And so that's what we want to investigate, because absolutely 100% it's a possibility that premature end to the 2021 bull market and Bitcoin just heads down from here. Okay? That's what we're going to investigate during this video. We're going to figure that out. So please let me know what in your opinion, let me know in the comments below. In your opinion, are we going to see more significant downside or not? All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it a little bit here. First of all, let's go through a few different time zones here. I'm going to I think I'll start with the worst case scenario. Let's say, what's the likelihood of it pushing down below here? So a couple things. Previous cycles, 2013, 2017, both ended in December. All right. There's some reasons for that, and I think the end of tax year is one reason. I think there's a few. I think there's a few things that go into that. I think significantly is Thanksgiving and Christmases. I think they're significant. People hang out with their family, and all of a sudden you've been alone in your little bubble, and you've been watching YouTube videos, and Bitcoin's going up and up and up and up and up and up, and then you go and hang out with your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, your uncle, and they're like, dude, you've made all this money. Take some profits. Take some money off the table. You get out of your YouTube bubble. You come back, and you're in the real world, and you hear from an older, more experienced person tell you a story about Amazon going up to $130 and then crashing down to $6 and stuff like that. And so there's a whole bunch of reasons why December, I think, is a big reason why the two cycles have ended in December. All of those reasons still apply, and there's an argument to be said that it's going to happen then in December this time too. However, there's an alternative argument. The alternative argument is that in 2013, so the 2013 cycle top, the halving occurred around 12, 13 months before that in November, December of 2012. Okay? In the next cycle, the halving occurred, if my memory serves, I believe it was September. September of 2016. And so that cycle took all the way, it took 15, 16 months before you got to December 2017 and we saw the top. Okay, maybe that was stretching it a little bit. So if you're familiar with the concept of snapping, when you're drawing something on using charts or drawing something with like Paint or Photoshop or whatever, snapping is when you put your mouse cursor near something, it'll snap to it. And so maybe, it snapped to December because the timing of this cycle end was that anyway. But the halving occurred in May of 2020. And so maybe it was too far away to snap to December. Maybe it snaps to April, May, which is tax season for most of the world. And especially in America, they've extended it, so it's not April, it's May this year because of COVID. So maybe we snap to, as we don't snap to December, we snap to April, May, because the halving was a little bit earlier. So the halving was in May last year, and so now we see it's 12 months. So right now is 12 months since the last halving. That was the same as the 2013 cycle. So maybe snapping to December is just too far away, and it snaps to something else. So that's an argument. It's just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all. This is just part of the bearish case. So Bitcoin is going to have an end to its 4-year cycle right here, right now. 65,000 was the top, and we now go into a multi-year downtrend. Absolute possibility. That's one of the key arguments against. Another key argument. Let me go back to this chart, and this is my really, really, really busy chart where I keep on all my lines for all kinds of things. It's kind of so busy, it's too difficult to work with, but I do believe overall that we are going to go back up and rise up very quickly with Bitcoin, and all of these trend lines I want still on there so I can see, so I keep this chart to do that. But on this chart, I have these vertical blue lines. If you're a long-time subscriber to this channel, you'll know that the vertical blue lines, I put them on here, they represent the last Friday of the month. It's when futures and options contracts generally expire, and they typically signal the bottom of the 30-day cycle. So right here, I'll go back to the daily. It'll be a little more obvious for you to see. Our vertical blue lines, we see a vertical blue line represented the bottom. A vertical blue line represented the bottom. The vertical blue line represented the bottom of the 30-day cycle. The middle of the months represented the tops. Okay, well, we are currently May 13th. We are supposed to be at the middle of the month. We're supposed to be representing the peak of the 30-day cycle. And we are at we did touch a multi-month low. Not good news for Bitcoin. Not good news for Bitcoin at all. So in addition to that, while we got the daily out, something else becomes blindingly obvious. We have put in a lower low. And thanks to this Elon Musk dump, we just put in a lower high. A lower low. This is the lower low, lower than here. This is the lower high, lower here. That indicates confirmation trend reversal. Okay, we don't know how long it's going to last, but trend reversal. If we are, I'll say this now, even though I'm in the middle of the bearish case, typically when things zigzag up like this, they do what's called an ABC correction, which is down, A, B, up, C. And they can either come to the same level as before and form a double bottom, indicating an upside, or they can keep coming down and heading up. Okay, so we have that case. Now, let's go ahead and look at some indicators here, because we have, we're on the daily, which is the one I like to look at these indicators. To begin with, the RSI, this downward trend continues. Now, if you know anything about the RSI, it's an oscillating indicator. It cannot go down forever, we know that. The way we use it is to capture divergence. So you'll see here, we were putting in higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. But on the RSI, we were putting in lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. This is a huge red flag of bearish divergence. Price going up, but one of our most important indicators heading down. And with the result, it finally caught up with it. We've had a good solid month now of bearish price action. That's how we use the RSI, right? One of the ways in which we use the RSI. There are other ways to use it. Other ways to use it is the lower it gets, especially below this purple band, and as I predicted a few days ago in a video, so just in case you didn't know, right here, I said the best case scenario for me is that we head back down, test the 21-week moving average, and a few other things need to happen. But I was hoping one of those things is that we get to the end of the month, this vertical blue line, that would be another signal that we've hit the bottom. I wanted us to get down to the 21-week moving average down here. That would be a really good, clear, crisp sign that it was going to happen. I said for it to do that, the RSI has to come back down low, in which case that would be a third awesome sign. So we've got the RSI down low, which is cool, but I suspect we haven't got the bottom of it yet, and we will see that in just a moment. Over to the money flow. We see here we are heading down, but we have not hit the bottom. We have not hit the bottom. If you have a look at this price action right here, this is the bottom of this time. We had RSI bottom out, money flow bottom out, and the stochastic RSI flip and start heading north. This is a momentum indicator. I'll get to that in a second. Tells us that that is the reversal of the trend. So now you know about the stochastic RSI. What do we see here? We are not flipping this yet. So the RSI is still headed south. If the RSI is headed south or working its way along the floor, then that means it's an indication that the price is still going to go lower. It's when the stochastic RSI flips up that is an indication we're at the bottom. So stochastic RSI flips up, it was an indication we're at the bottom. Stochastic RSI flips up, it was an indication we're at the bottom. Stochastic RSI flips up 3 days after the last Friday of the month, and what do you know? The trend ends 3 days after the end of the last Friday of the month and flips up before an uptrend. This is not flipping up just yet. So here is what I'm surprised we came down to the 21-week moving average as quickly as we did. What would have been perfection is if we have come down and hit at the end of the month, got that, and it would have been a really, really easy trade. You just go for it. In my opinion, just throw the kitchen sink at it. Times are very, very good. But this happening in the middle of the month, doing it when the stochastic RSI has not finished its momentum cycle, is not making a crystal clear picture for me that we are at the bottom. It just does not look that way. One last thing I want to check out. Let's get off the busy chart because it's damn near impossible to see anything on that one. I'm going to go, this is the same thing, just hasn't got all the lines on it. I'm going to go to the hourly chart. I'm going to look at the 21-week moving average on an hourly chart. So it's the 3,528 period moving average on an hourly chart. Let's go ahead and pull this up. You can see right here we wicked down. This is in the space of 1 hour. Let me kill the volume bars so I can see that more clearly. We wicked down. Look at that big, long wick. This is all in the space of an hour. It wicked down from 50,000 down to 45,000 and shot straight back up. So a couple things here. The fact that this came up, this subtle, big, long wick, again, confirms the worst kept secret in all of crypto. The 21-week moving average is a big deal. There would have been millions of people just waiting to buy the 21-week moving average. And listen, I think they're going to be well rewarded eventually, if they're not in too leveraged a position, because it is a fantastic price, I think, a fantastic price. But as I've just gone through, there are certainly some reasons to suggest we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet, okay? But overall, this long wick says the bulls are here. Like, the bulls are out. Like, the bulls are certainly looking for bargains. You gave us one below the 21-week moving average, and some people jumped in, right? No doubt about that. So that long wick is indicative that the bulls are around. But there's no doubt the bears are here and in control. We have a clear downtrend. And the question will be is, can they exhaust the bulls and we completely crash down? If not, the bulls will take charge and come back. So now let's look at that scenario. Can the bulls take charge? And what are we going to, let's go back to the daily chart here and see what we have arguing in favor of the bulls. To begin with, let's go back. We've talked about the 21-week moving average. We understand how important that is. Anytime let's do it. I'll take it. It's worth going back. It's worth going back and explaining it to you. So 2017, let's go back. I think we went too far there. 2017, we got 1 chance, 2 chance, 3 chance, 4 chance, 5 chance, 6 chance, 7 chance, 8 chances where it kissed the 21-week moving average, and they represented the 6 best buying times for Bitcoin that year. After every one of them, we have a significant price rise. Okay. But what's interesting, so we have it, how many did I count? 6, 7, 8. It was rare that it was more. I think just visually, I think this was the longest one from here to here. That one was 160 days. And you can see here, it almost came down here. So even that one was cut in the middle by something that almost hit the 21-week moving average, and that was just 90 days. Let's just double check towards the end of the cycle. We got this one, which was 100 days. And that one looks relatively short. And then there was this one. From here to there was 98 days. That was the actual market top. It took 98 days where it was away from the 21-week moving average for 98 days. Now, while I'm here, so I don't have to come back, I want you to look at this. This went from $5,000 in the space of a couple of weeks to $20,000, back down to $6,000. So what is that? In the space of 77 days, we quadrupled and gave it all back. Quadrupled and gave it all back. Okay. So let's go back. Sorry, I don't need to do that. All I need to do is slide this left. So does this look like that? In that same, what have we done here? Let's go from here. From 44,000, 90 days later, we're at 49,000. Did it quadruple? No. It went up 50%. Went from 44,000 to 64,000. It was not that blow-off top that in previous cycles has always suggested to us that this could be the end. Like that crazy blow-off top goes up, quadruples, crashes back down like crazy. That we haven't seen that. We've been consolidating. We've been doing a time-based correction. In the grand scheme of things, if you compare it to there, like this top, we went up here. Check this out. From here, we were 100%, 120% over the 21-week moving average. And then it crashed back down, almost halved from, where is it? Where did we go? 60,000 all the way down to 44,000. So it wiped off a third in the space of a week, right? If we crashed down from here, I might have argued that, this is significant. We've gone from 20 to 60, back down to 20. That would be concerning. But this sideways action, this is a time-based correction. And overall, to me, says it's actually very, very bullish for Bitcoin news. Very bullish. And we needed something because we had this massive run-up. Remember, in 2017, it hit the price came back down and bounced off the 21-week moving average like 8, 9 times. It was never more than 90 days. What are we up to here? We haven't been here since October 2020, which gives us 217 days of insanity, of awesomeness. It's great. Incredible price rises. But it's been a long time since we have been near the 21-week moving average. Now, a couple things we can look from that. We can go the negative case. Well, that means it was way overheated and we need a corresponding massive crash. One way to look at it. The other way to look at it is this massive price run-up. When it does this, it gives this massive price run-up. The 21-week moving average goes up really steeply. If it crashes back down and the Bitcoin price meets it down here, that means the 21-week moving average starts going up slower. But the fact that it goes way up and then just loiters up here in this sideways action means the 21-week average rapidly runs up. And from that perspective, if we were to bounce off it and if we were to go north, this trajectory would remain quite high. And what it means is the next leg up is going to be super epic. Could be double, could be a triple of the price. right? We could see some crazy stuff. Well, we saw in 2017, it quadrupled in price just in the last month, right? This to me, that kind of looks like it's setting up for that. To me, this looks like a spring being compressed, coiling, waiting, and it will explode later. So, okay, we've gone through a lot of different data points here and kind of made the bearish case, but I didn't have to go back and forth in the charts. I've sprinkled in a few of the bullish signs. But listen, with all this being said, me personally, I think the most likely scenario is sometime in the near future, we see the explosive move forward with Bitcoin, and we head towards that blow off top that will happen later in the year. I'm predicting sometime, pardon me, between September and December. Between September and December is when I expect the top to happen. That I still think is the most likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario is here we bounce off the 21-week moving average. And I am much more terrified of missing that crazy up leg rather than this coming down to some other lower level. Now that's in the medium to long term. Days or weeks is a different story. In the days or weeks, we have a lot of compelling evidence to say we are going to go down a little more. The RSI on the daily, not as low as the previous low, and we are clearly in a downtrend. The money flow, not even out of the purple region yet, and the stochastic RSI, not down yet, and showing no signs of flipping around. So, plus, if you recall, the last Friday of the month, the vertical blue lines on that other thingo, we are still we are 15 days away from that. So today's Thursday, those vertical blue lines are on the last Friday of the month. So we are 15 days away from where the low of the 30-day cycle should happen. We got plenty of reason to say we're not quite at the bottom yet. Let's go back and revisit a previous trade. It was a losing trade. And we got in somewhere around here at 57,000. Why did I get in at 57,000? And I made videos about this. And I said, look, at 57,000, we are close to breaking out of the... Okay, we'll go back. I will go back to this channel because it's there. At 57,000, we are a good chance of breaking through this purple zone of resistance. And if we get to the other side, we're going to be off to the races. But what did I do? I put a stop loss in at 55. 55. Put a stop loss in at 55. And so I had a $1 million Bitcoin bet, and I put it at 57, and I jumped out at 55. So I had downward protection. The reason was, if it went below 55, which was this wick here, I believed it invalidated my thesis that we were going to break through this trend. And as a result of that stop loss, we missed. I didn't suffer any of these losses, but I was in the game if it went up. So now we have to think about that how I'm thinking about it. Thinking about it with that same concept. We're at the 21-week moving average. This hasn't happened in over 200 days. Typically, it is the unbelievably best, awesome, go buy now in the middle of a bull market. You're going to be very, very happy. It represents the best buying opportunity. So we have to weigh it up again. Listen, there's an argument to be said. This goes a little bit further, maybe a couple of weeks further. If that was the case, it would make it really, really, really easy, I would argue, to keep going. If the RSI was any lower, if the price was down lower, there's arguments. Oh, I missed an important one. There's another argument about the bullish price, which is the double bottom. We have a double bottom here on the candles, on the bodies of the candles. Sorry, I just want to put that in because I wanted to mention it and forgot it. If we come down here and double bottom and take back up, double bottom is typically a reversal pattern. You get double bottom, you get two cracks at going lower, and if you can't succeed, very often it turns around and is an indication of a trend reversal. Another very important bullish argument in the short term. So wanted to, actually I'll leave that there. that could come back to be prophetic. If you see, the secret is if you put a million lines on the page, there's a good chance that one of them proves prophetic, and you can go ahead and delete all the bad ones and come back and make a video about how awesome your prediction was. So I'll leave that there. I'm joking, of course. Okay, so the question becomes, can we make a bet? Because listen, there's definitely arguments to be had that this is we're going to have a 1-2 day chance down here at these low prices, and then we take off. That argument's there. So we ask ourselves the question, can we take a bet where we have a sensible place to put a stop loss, where if it goes against us, we lose. Fine, we eat our losses, but we were in the game in case we had that next big parabolic move, right? It's very, very, very good thought to have. So right now I'm weighing up. Do I wait a few days and come into when we have a little bit more confluence between the RSI bottoming out, end of the month, 30-day cycle ending, right? There's arguments to say wait. But the risk, can we set our stop loss at a place where it makes a lot of sense to get in? And if there's something that invalidates this and says, hey, we're headed lower, then no problem. We cash out, we take a small loss, but we were in the game. All right? If I can't find that, then what have I got to do? I've got to stay out of the game, which is almost equally terrifying. So let's investigate. Let's get off this super busy chart that's so busy you can't see anything. And let's head over here. So this double bottom here, we've got this double bottom according to the bodies of the candle, but we do have this trend line here. Maybe not there, probably go there. On the wicks, you go bottom, 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 and you would have an interesting trend line there, all right? So in order to set this, I don't like setting stop losses where the trend is chasing me down. I don't like that. Because, okay, what if it goes on for 2 more weeks and all of a sudden, my stop loss has to be down here at like 41, but it is what it is, and that's what we need to look at. Next, see the next kind of area of resistance that jumps out to me is this line right here, and I didn't use the correct line tool, but nonetheless, you'll see it. And we see wick down to the bottom, wick down to the bottom, wick down to the bottom. So we could come back down. We could arguably set our stop loss just below that, near this high, and maybe that would offer some protection, but that's still 41,000 right now today. The price is, Bitcoin is 50,000. Yeah, maybe had I have got in, if I was awake during this wick and it went down to 45, 44, and we may be able to get in at 45, 46, maybe I would say, okay, I could get in there because I can set a good stop loss down here at 42, 43. So maybe that's an argument there. But I don't like the fact that we're all the way up here at 50 and I don't see a good place to put my stop loss until I'm all the way down here at 43, 44. And even that gives me really close to this top. I'd be tempted, let's just capture a little bit of a safety zone and put it all the way down at 40. That's a big stop loss. It's a big stop loss, especially at a time when I've got plenty of other reasons to say we might have a few more days of downtrend. I could get a better price. I could set a stop loss closer to where I want to set it. And so we ask ourselves the question, is this a good time to sell? Is there enough fear in the market? Should we sell? And I would say no. Selling at the 21-week moving average, I don't think you're going to be, it's not a good risk-reward play. It's not to say the price can't go lower. I think maybe it even, from this price of $50,000, I think it actually do go lower over the next few days. But would I sell here if I was like in a long-term trade? I wouldn't. A long-term trade, short-term, different story. Long-term trade, my long-term HODL account is at the end of this market cycle. I don't think so, and I'm not leaning towards that play. So selling, no. Next question is, the next other two options, do we buy or do nothing and wait and see? Look, buying is compelling because of all the reasons we've said so far. But with maybe down here, I think probably if I was here at 45 and 48, I probably would have. I wasn't awake for it, but I probably would have. Up here, actually, was it? No, it happened yesterday when I was in the air. I was flying yesterday. That's when it happened. So I'm not, yeah, I'm pretty sure it happened when I was in the air. But nonetheless, up here at 50, I'm not a buyer. I'm not going long here. I think down here I probably would have. Up there, I was not. But here's now, just a little bit of forecasting. What I suspect is going to happen here. Let's bring out my tool, which has been not doing well, by the way. That's not the tool. My magic lines here. Again, I think what I think might happen is we might spend a couple of days doing some sideways, doing some soul searching, and then I think we might have another leg down. That's what I think it might happen. If not, another thing, just another little piece, that we're only 24 hours since the Elon Musk tweet. Big bits of news, typically the trend lasts for 3 days. What I've seen, the trend lasts for 3 days. If you go back and watch XRP when the SEC announcement came out, lasted 3 days, 3 consecutive days of vicious price action on XRP. If you think you go forward to Elon Musk, the announcement that Tesla had Bitcoin on its balance sheet, put 1.5 billion of Bitcoin on its balance sheet, I think you'll find it lasted for 3 days. Big news like this, like out of the blue news, usually lasts for about 3 days in terms of price action. So, and look, I want to see what happens here coming up in the next few days. I'll be making plenty more videos, so make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll explain all of the issues to you as I see it. So yeah, all right, guys, go ahead, like this video, please. Hit the subscribe button. Lots of fun things coming up with this channel, and please let me know in the comments below. Are you going long? Are you waiting to see? Or are you selling Bitcoin right now? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you've got to say, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.